Hello, everyone, and welcome to Inside the Newsroom. I'm Maddie Paul, and there is no live cam today because I'm wearing green, and then the green screen would have to come up, and I would just blend into this whole thing. Nobody needed to see that, so no live cam today, so you can enjoy the beautiful digital desk background. But this is Inside the Newsroom. We talk about the trending stories in the KELOLAND area, and we bring on our newsroom staff members to talk about these trending stories. They just happen to be the same trending stories that you see every day on our newscasts and online at KELOLAND.com. A lot of trending stories to get to today and a lot of unique perspectives from the reporters who created these stories. So let's get started with our very first one. An organization advertising abortion pill information has filed a counter lawsuit against South Dakota Attorney General Marty Jackley. Our digital reporter Gracie Terrell took a look at the timeline of events and the two cases in a recent KELOLAND.com original story. And Gracie, I'll start with some context. In December, Mayday Health put up abortion pill ads at gas stations just across the state, and we saw responses from that, including Jackley. So what was the lawsuit from the state attorney general?
Sure. So shortly after those ads went out and they were on gas stations, they read pregnant, don't want to be, and then directed people to Mayday Health's organization. You can see there in the photo what some of them looked like. And shortly after those went live, the governor, Larry Roden, he had kind of asked Jackley to look into it, and then Jackley sent a cease and desist, which not all of the gas stations fully complied with. There were some that still had them up. So went forward with a lawsuit there, and on the grounds of deceptive advertising and harming women here in the state, because they say that through some of the information linked through third parties on Mayday Health, they say that there's just some fishy, I suppose, on their account, advice for people who are seeking abortions, specifically medication abortions, and they say that that could harm women. So that is kind of the basis of Jackley's original lawsuit that came in late December.
And now we have this counter lawsuit. What was Jackley's response to that? You included this in your story, right? Wasn't he surprised?
Yes, actually, we got the information about the lawsuit, and I reached out to Jackley to kind of get a comment on that, and he had said that he was actually learning about the lawsuit, the counter lawsuit, for the first time through our media inquiry there. So he said that's not the way that things are done in South Dakota, and that they will still be going forward with their lawsuit, whether or not that they get served. And I think it's important to note that the South Dakota lawsuit is in state court through Hughes County, and Mayday's lawsuit is a federal court through the state of New York. So there are some differences there in how some court proceedings might go about because of the differences.
Yeah, that's a great element to highlight, especially now looking at this timeline, as this is a developing topic that you have been following since it started. So for this article, too, your recent KELOLAND.com original, what else did you feel was important to highlight now? Like, especially the counter lawsuit, right?
Yeah. The counter lawsuit, I dug through that, just tried to make sure I understood what Mayday was claiming, was asking a judge for, and they are looking to get Jackley's lawsuit considered unconstitutional. They want to make sure that their ads and their website are protected under the First Amendment, and they want to enjoin to make sure that no further lawsuits from South Dakota or from the Attorney General come forth against Mayday or the advertising company or their website or any of that stuff. So those are kind of the three things that they are looking for in their lawsuit, and it's mostly under government censorship, the right to free speech, and the First Amendment.
And I'm sure you're going to be keeping your eye on this developing topic. So for now, what comes next for these two lawsuits, or what should we be keeping an eye on?
Sure. So the next kind of step then is a hearing that'll take place on the 12th, which is Monday at 11 a.m. in Pierre, and that will be for Jackley's lawsuit, the lawsuit against Mayday Health. So that first hearing, and Jackley also asked for a permanent or a temporary kind of stop, so that I'm blanking on the name of the word right now, but basically hoping that Mayday will take their ads down kind of through the court process, just to eliminate any potential harm if, the courts do rule on Jackley's side of things. So they're hoping to have a permanent injunction there and kind of have the ads taken down. Not sure on the website side of things yet, but just kind of stop any advertising here in South Dakota until the courts do their first ruling. So we will see if the judge rules on that at 11 a.m. in Pierre on Monday.
Well, Gracie, thank you for sharing all these details here at the Digital Desk. And everyone watching, if you would like to read Gracie's story, go ahead and do so. It's published now on KELOLAND.com. Just scan that QR code that you see on your screen right now to take you to the KELOLAND.com homepage. And stick around for Inside the Newsroom. When we come back, we're looking at data centers and how they work. Stay with us. And welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. There has been plenty of discussion around data centers lately, especially with the possibility of one coming to Sioux Falls now. However, some of us may not know what they do or what kind of data they process. Jordan DeSmit traveled to Dakota State University to find out those answers to those questions.
Data centers contain servers that can do anything from basic computer tasks to what Dakota State University Chief Technology Officer Brent Van Artsen calls, quote, high-end AI workloads. He says there are three main types of data centers: private facilities that are company-specific, co-location data centers where people can rent out space, and hyperscalers, which are designed to meet the needs of thousands of people. Van Artsen says data centers can process a wide variety of information.
So it could be anything from your files that you have in the cloud, so your family photos, your videos that you take on your phone, all the way to specific data analytics from your workplace. So a specific work product that is in there, all of the data analysis that goes behind, like your healthcare data or banking data, like all of that is data.
Van Artsen says that one of the reasons why you should keep yourself informed about data centers is because they help drive the internet.
Anytime you've got an app open on your phone that's relying on GPS for map data and those sorts of pieces, the games you play on your phone, the cloud storage that your family photos end up in, all of that is reliant on data centers in some shape or form in order for it to work.
Van Artsen believes experts are still tapping into the capabilities.
What can come from a data center is kind of endless, but it's really on the app developer side of it, or those that are making use of the data center.
And now our new tech wizard, Jordan DeSmit, joins us at the Digital Desk to talk about this story. Because Jordan, I'm sure there's lots of information about data centers that you learned about that probably didn't have time to make its way in this package. So why did you choose to highlight the elements that you had? Like, what was newsworthy to you?
I mean, my biggest thing was you can look up all this information online like I did before I went up to Madison, and you can still be really confused if you don't know anything about technology or your computers or anything like that. And so my goal when I was trying to make it newsworthy was, my first question to this guy, Brent, was, all right, explain to me what a data center is to someone who has no clue what a data center is. And so those were kind of the answers that you saw. So I wanted to make sure people knew exactly what do data centers do, which is essentially they can do a wide variety of tasks and they process a lot of different information, and how do they work, right? So that was the big crux and the main theme of what I wanted my story to be.
I think you made your story very conversational, very easy to understand, as if I was like a 5-year-old with that kind of brain, understanding, okay, what are we working with here? But did anything surprise you as you were learning more from Brent?
I would say just how much data centers do. Right. I mean, it's the thing. A lot of the things that you do in your phone, like I use Google Maps to get up there, and I think that was reliant on a data center to get me up there, right? And the storage on my phone, the photos and videos that back up. I mean, that's a data center that helps with that. So it's crazy how much goes into it and how much a data center helps us out essentially when it comes to technology.
I want to stick to your headline for a second right here because it is a question. What are they? How do they work? Certainly something that I had in my mind as I was going into this story. Why did you want to stick to a question for your headline?
I think just because obviously data centers with the Sioux Falls City Council vote, it's been a big topic of conversation. I wanted to make it clear that this wasn't me trying to argue for or against a data center. I mean, you have your opinion on that, and I think we can respect that. But I wanted to make it clear that my goal with that story was just to explain what they are.
Right.
I want to inform people about what a data center is before they come to a conclusion about whether they want it in Sioux Falls.
So what's your biggest takeaway from a story like this?
Is that data centers and just the decisions around them, it's complicated. There's pros and there's cons, and I think that's something that the Sioux Falls City Council has to decide on, and it's something that I think we as a community has to figure out. Do the pros outweigh the cons? Do the cons outweigh the pros? Who knows?
Right. Well, Jordan, thank you so much for sharing these details here at the Digital Desk. And everyone, we had team coverage about data centers on KELOLAND News yesterday. You can find all those stories on KELOLAND.com. Just scan that QR code that you see on your screen right now to take you to our homepage. But of course, stick around for more Inside the Newsroom. We're talking about Feeding South Dakota and how your donation could go twice as far when we come back after the break. And welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. To kick off the new year, Feeding South Dakota is receiving a huge gift, but it needs the help of other donors to make it worthwhile. Summer Roddershot tells us how we can help out.
Mark Papadakis is a regular volunteer at Feeding South Dakota.
I volunteer 1 to 3 days a week, sometimes more, sometimes less, but I enjoy coming out here and helping out.
He's also a part of the 605 Meal Makers program.
The 605 Meal Makers program is a monthly giving program that Feeding South Dakota offers to donors across the state to be able to give, a smaller amount or a larger amount every month, and then that builds throughout the year, making a real impact on our neighbors across South Dakota.
It was easy to just make that happen. Fill out the paperwork and you're all done, but also it gives the planners upstairs knowledge that they've got funding coming each and every month.
This year, for anybody who becomes a new giver with the 605 Meal Makers program, their gift will go twice as far.
We have generous donors, and their names are Jim and Melody Milkey, and they have offered to match all of the donations that come in that are new donations to our 605 Meal Makers program.
Giving Feeding South Dakota the resources it needs to help people across the state.
There is a shortage of food for those in need, and anything that they can do, no matter how small, makes it worthwhile for those folks that actually need the product, the food.
And Summer Roddershot joins us at the Digital Desk now to talk more about this story. I want to start off right away. 1, love the sweater.
Thank you.
2,
got it for Christmas.
With this story, I love the time that you went to go do the interview. Of course, I know that we have daily turnarounds, and so you have a certain amount of time to go and do these things, but it was a very busy atmosphere in that warehouse, and I kind of loved that bustle and that vibe. Have you been there before? Like, were you expecting all that action at that time?
Honestly, I feel like it was a little bit more active than it usually is when we're there. I feel like I'm usually there, and I know this is going to sound weird, but like about a half hour later. And so it was so crazy how much a half hour changed. But there was even some times where I had to almost pause the interview because it was so loud in there. But they're busy keeping people fed, so I get it.
Exactly. And for you, for this story, going into the story angle, what makes this story so newsworthy now?
I feel like we hear a lot from nonprofits nowadays. And I've worked with a couple different nonprofits already this week, just talking about the struggles that they're facing. And so hearing, and just so we're clear, this is huge. Like, and granted, it has to be all new monthly donors, but for them to match that monthly donation, it's not just like the first month they're matching it. It's for the entire year. That is huge for a nonprofit. And, I think they sort of said it in the package, but just to be able to rely and know that money is coming into the nonprofit helps them know that they can keep feeding people. So that's sort of why I thought it was newsworthy.
What part of the story then are you most proud of capturing or sharing?
I think Mark Papadakis, which try saying that 3 times fast. I can say that because my last name's Roddershot, so like I get it. But hearing him talk about his passion behind it, that was one of my favorite parts, because not only did we have Feeding South Dakota saying how much it's going to affect them, but then we also had somebody saying why they chose Feeding South Dakota to donate to and why they thought it was a worthy cause.
Right. Well, for more information on the 605 meal makers or to sign up, we posted information on Summer's story on KELOLAND.com. Summer, thank you for being here to share those details at the digital desk. And everyone, stick around. We'll have more inside the newsroom when we come back after the break. And welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. Things are back to normal. Scott Munn's back.
Normal and me, has that ever been together?
You tell me.
Maybe not.
Okay. Well, this is a first then. It's good that you're back. You don't sound sick. You don't look sick.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, yesterday was a little rough.
I know.
Just slept a lot. The only thing that I had a taste for, I would say, was fruit.
Put that as your headline.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. I had a lot of oranges yesterday, fruit cocktail, and that was about it.
Sounds good now.
You know, I think I lost my holiday weight in one day because I didn't eat anything but fruit.
Did you have a bug? Like you have like a little sinus thing going on.
A sinus thing going on, pressure, terrible headache all day.
Yeah.
And that didn't go away until sometime during the night. Overnight into this morning. This morning I woke up at 1:30 and I'm like, I'm going to work. And it just felt terrible yesterday.
I know, it was so sad. But Brian did a great job yesterday running the show as you were under the weather, as he said. I listened to your story today on whether or not to your little sick stories. You and Brian were talking about that, and I was like, well, they got it covered, so we don't need to talk about it here. So if you want to hear about Scott being sick, go ahead and watch Whether or Not.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear that.
Yes, they do.
But what I want to know is, are you going to the eye doctor? That's today, right? Thursday? Yeah, today's Thursday. Missed a day.
Story time.
Okay, good.
Story time. So Squinty here was going to make Squints had an eye doctor appointment today.
Had.
That's
the key word.
I had to reschedule though.
Okay.
Too busy here. I have a lot to do. I want to make KELOLAND Plus the best it can be, and sometimes the eyes have to go on hold for that.
So is it rescheduled for tomorrow?
No. Dude, imagine trying to make an appointment right now just anywhere. It's always like a month ahead. Because I booked my appointment that was supposed to be for today. I booked that back in December. Yeah. Whenever I first anchored, I think like after that first time I did the morning show, immediately I was like, okay, booking that appointment.
Do I need to bring up that picture again as to why you need to go to the eye doctor?
I don't know. What if the powers that be are watching? You never know what's gonna happen.
Powers that be.
Yeah, he's gonna bring it up. I know it.
You want me? Hey, I can. Let's see it.
Did you find that video of the ring drop?
I did not. I'll have to look somewhere else that I might have it.
He's gonna find it another time.
Yeah, I like this one. This is the one that you sent me originally. That you sent me. If I could get that square on the camera there. Okay. So what did I do? Well, given me the opportunity, I said, well, let's get a little closer.
Maybe I'm just smiling.
No, that's not your smile. That is not your smile.
I can recreate it.
You can recreate, yeah, right.
That was like the Zoolander face. Did you just see what I did? Hold on, I gotta do it again.
Zoolander. One that I have to watch again.
Oh, gosh.
Watch again.
Early 2000s movie. Okay, enough about movies. This is about Inside the Newsroom, Scott Munn.
Okay, so
I want the inside deets about today's Whether or Not, because you were sick.
Yeah.
So like, how do you persevere being sick and having to do so much? Because meteorology, you got to do your research, you got to take your notes, you got to send them to Brian.
Well, that was I told the story too that wake up at 2:00 and I look at computer models at home and I take notes. And for that first half hour yesterday morning, I couldn't write anything down.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here like this going, what am I doing? My head's going, bow, bow, bow. So I said, all right, I'll go back to sleep.
But today, better?
Today, yeah. Woke up a half
fine?
hour earlier before the alarm, jumped out of bed, did a little skip around to the coffee maker, made some coffee, and here I am this morning.
You gonna do a dance now?
No.
Since we're so happy and joyful that you're back, I'll do dance to you.
Well, I already gave you a little too much information anyway, so.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I was watching Whether or Not today, and it was like the segment where Brian came in. I'm always just so fascinated how you two can transition so well. Because at the end, he was of the third segment, our C block, that's how we organize it, right?
Yep.
He was going in depth about more meteorology terms, and I forget which one he was talking about. Do you remember?
The teleconnections?
Yes, that's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah, because I remember it started with a T, and he was going off on that.
Yeah, those are big global patterns that we'll look at. And one that he was in particular of interest for him was the Arctic oscillation, because we're talking about this colder air that will eventually start to show up later in the month.
But he was talking about that, and somehow you just like whipped right in after he was done, and you were able like to transition to the end of the segment and like feature what was coming up. I'm just amazed by your timing, like the two of you together, just being able to kind of like sync up. Do you think we sync up?
We've been, I don't know. I mean, that's for others to decide.
The powers
that be to decide.
Decide that. I don't know. It's just fascinating because I've seen it in the studio now, and I watch it here, and sometimes I see it behind the scenes too, and I'm just like walking by, and I'm like, oh, what are they talking about right now? But I don't know. You guys can do it really well.
Well, thanks. I mean, we've worked together for that show, and we've talked about this before. I think since 2015.
Right, the
April
morning
2015 is when we kind of tag team with that morning show.
Yeah.
So we've been doing that for 10 years, and we've been doing Whether or Not for, I would say, 6 months?
It launched, June or July?
Yeah, middle of summer.
I think it was
right?
July, because I think Inside the Newsroom was June.
Yep. In fact, I have a log with how many times that I've done the show, and I'm at over 100. I've done over 100 shows.
Over 100? Because we can check on YouTube too, because we upload those there. We could see the amount of episodes there, but it's just better to have your log.
Yeah, and I put the topics down, and those topics. There's always a pattern. There's always something in the long range on that topic. It's usually a 3 bullet point thing. Pattern or long range is always one of them, and then the first one is usually something that's in the short term forecast. Maybe talking about records or some snow that's coming, or even the second bullet point could be our long-range snowfall forecast or something like that.
Whatever the people want to know.
Yeah, and I like to write that down into a log and see how long they'll let me do Whether or Not.
Forever.
See how many shows I get under my belt. Go from there.
Well, speaking of going so long, Scott, it's time to say so long.
Is it? It's only been like 6 minutes.
Kind of, yeah. We have to wrap it up pretty early now. We had a lot to do on Inside the Newsroom today.
Okay, well, have a good show.
Thank you. And thank you for being on. Thank you for watching Inside the Newsroom, everyone. And until next time, have a great day, everyone. Do it, Scott. It's been a couple days.
Oh, we got to move this.